An associate of mine who I've known from my old channel by the name of Dr. Viking, I think really put things very much into perspective, as have several other users from other countries. Um, excuse me. Link one is going to be to a map of crimes in various different countries. Now, some of these don't account for drug crimes, which would be a big reason why we are number one in America here, because it's not so much that we are a heavily violent society as society would lead you to believe, or at least the media would lead you to believe, which is why I decided to make this secondary video, to make an explanation of things. Because even taking that factor out, there are a lot of us in prison. There are a lot of us who are violent offenders. There are a lot of us out there who do bad things because we are compelled to. There are certain psychological reasonings for this, and I've gone through a lot of that stuff in my last channel. I may bring some of that research over to this channel. In fact, there's a lot of migrating that I want to do. Before I get into the meat and potatoes of what Wagner has said, which the link to his newest video is down in the underbar, I definitely highly recommend subscribing to him. I watched his video because I knew I wouldn't like what I was going to hear, but that's exactly why I wanted to talk about his video a little bit. This isn't so much a video response to him, though. This is a response to my last video in many ways, shapes and forms. Because now people are blaming, oh, it's the lack of God in schools. That doesn't work. The reason why I bring up the crime statistics is Netherlands may not necessarily be on that map, but it is within some of the regions there, especially when compared to America, what is it they keep saying, the Christian-founded nation? They have taken prayer completely out of schools. They have legalized prostitution. They also have legal gay marriage. You know what they don't have? They don't have school shootings. So why is it only we're being punished for God's wrath because we've taken God out of school? And I want to make this extremely clear, and I'm going to try to be as extremely respectful as I can with this. Prayer was not taken out of schools. Mandatory prayer to your chosen God was taken out of schools. Considering that we are now a cavalcade of religions, of religious ideas, hell, there isn't even one sect of Christianity. I've actually lost count of how many different offshoots. Let's see, there's Lutherans, there's Church of England, there's Protestant, there's Pentecostal. Which one of those versions of Christianity is the true version of Christianity? And I'm sure I will get a lot of comments from each one of those denominations stating emphatically that they are the true voice of the God, and so on and so forth. But then we've got Muslims, we've got Hindus, we've got Buddhists, we've got atheists. We have a whole spectrum of religions, not to mention Jewish religions. We are not going to force, nobody has the right to force any of those denominations or any of those other religions to pray to your God. But if you want to pray, even in a public school, you can do that. It's not illegal. God has not been taken out of your schools. Forcing your God on other people of other faiths, other people of other sects of Christianity, has been taken out of schools because it is not right. I don't care what authority you think you have in the realm of religion, in the realm of God, to say that you know the truth. You are the one true believer of the true God, and we need to shoehorn him into public schools because that has everything to do with education. You don't have that right. You can be angry about this all you want, but you have so many other competing religions and competing sects of Christianity with which to have to contend to, that you're going to have to do better than, well, my book says that I'm right, in order to prove that your God, it needs to be the only God in any school out there in this country as well as the world. People are also, as you can see in the links down in the underbar, links 2 and 3, blaming video games. I'm going to port over my playlist, on video games and video game effects and research to show you how this is laughable at best. The fact that people are trying to make it that this somehow rewired this person's brain and forced him to kill, in conjunction with, oh yeah, the gun and the gun laws and all these things that have apparently failed us that led to yesterday's massacre. No! Why I bring up Voctor's video is when I was commenting to him, not defending the right to own guns, but the opportunity to own guns. He hit the nail on the head. Trust. In Denmark, they don't need guns because they can trust each other. We in this country, look at the 1950s. Everybody knew almost everybody in the neighborhood. Now, again, there are, female rights issues and religious issues and civil rights issues and things of this nature, but putting those aside, let's look at our communities back in the old America. We used to trust each other. We used to care about each other. Oh, Fred down the street doesn't feel too good? I'm going to bake him a pie. Now we've been bred into, especially because of the media, which was a huge reason for doing the pedophilia research playlist, the research videos, which again, playlist will be completed sometime today and be on my channel page for people to look at the destructive nature of the paranoia, the boogeymen in American society that we have created. We have gone from a stranger is a friend you haven't met to a stranger is somebody who will break into your home, rape your family right in front of you, and kill each and every one of you. That it is a dog-eat-dog world, even outside of corporate circles, and that we all have to be in it for ourselves, because that's all we can rely on. We cannot trust our community. We cannot trust our fellow man. We cannot trust, period. And he's right. He's absolutely right. When you have because, I'm willing to bet, and I do need to do the research, so I'm not trying to make a positive assertion, but I'm making a placeholder assertion right now, or at least that's the phrase I'm coining here. I'm going to do research into the times when we were much more of a community as an America. And I'm going to look at gun violence statistics. I'm willing to bet you, and I may be proven wrong on this, but I'm willing to bet you that they had guns and they had less gun violence outside of the mob, outside of gang violence, which would be no different than Denmark. Because people trusted each other. They didn't feel like they had to arm themselves against some invisible menace that the media has created. Can you understand how destructive media frenzy, sensationalism, and misinformation has created a rift between us and everybody else around us, to where our four walls of our house are our fortress, our prison to keep us locked inside because we have to be afraid of everybody else around us? This doesn't work. This cannot continue. And I dare say we'd be able to find troubled people like the person who did this shooting if we were more of a community. Because in the end, That's the most important factor here. Whether you're going to blame the gun, the video games, or the lack of God in schools, you're taking the responsibility away from the one thing that caused this shooting, that person. And we need to stop this. Otherwise, we are not being honest with each other. We're not being intellectually honest, and we're not allowing people to take personal responsibility. This has to stop. It's not the games. It's not the religion or lack thereof. It's not any of this stuff. It is the person. But what got the person to that point? Nobody wants to look into that. And that is where we fail, ladies and gentlemen. That as well as the lack of trust. These are societal issues now. These are issues that need to be dealt with. Thank you for your time.